Good day, everybody, and welcome to More Than Just Business, powered by the Growth Coach of the Poconos. I'm your host, Rick Franzo. With us today is Kim Ellet. She is the Growth Coach of the Greater Atlanta area. Is that correct? The Greater Atlanta area?
Yeah,
Right?
Metro Atlanta, however you want
Metro
to say
Atlanta, Greater
it.
Atlanta, Atlanta. We'll just take it as
Right.
one big chunk. So welcome, Kim. How are you?
Thank you, Rick. I'm great. It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, thanks for giving us some of your valuable time. Really appreciate it. So tell our viewers a little bit about Kim and why Kim became a growth coach, a business coach.
Well, I had quite a varied background, over 25 years in various roles in corporate as well as owning different businesses, and went through a life change that a lot of people go through, where you have that kind of hard reset, where you have that time to reflect and think and decide what you're really passionate about. One of the things I joke around about is one of the businesses that I was a part owner in was men's hair salon franchises. And I realized that I wasn't super passionate about men's haircuts. So believe it or not. So I just got really clear on what it was that lit me up about being a business owner, but also realizing it's hard. It's hard to be a business owner, and that there are so many things that we all have to focus on, all the balls in the air, that we really have a hard time focusing on which one to catch first and not let the others drop. So I really became passionate about wanting to help other business owners succeed. You know, when you go through something really, a big transition or a setback, you have a tendency to question yourself. You have a tendency to feel like maybe I can't do anything right. You know, those kind of self-defeating conversations. And so I worked with coaches, I worked with folks to help me turn that around. And I realized that's really the crux of the success for business owners, is being able to manage that and have that person in your corner to help you overcome that. So that's why I became a coach.
I like that you said have that person in your corner. Right now, more than ever, people want
Mhm.
that support. They want that tangible kind of a relationship to make them feel safe, for lack of a better term. And I think that that's no matter how long people are in business. I know that I see that with my clients here. It's always good to be backstopped by somebody or an organization. And one of the things is we're backstopped by the growth coach, the franchise itself,
Mhm.
which is wonderful. And for us to be able to go and pass that on is it's a great thing. That really speaks to your why for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. I use the analogy of the professional athletes, right? The people that are best in their field. You know, you've got Michael Phelps, you got Serena Williams, they all have a coach.
Yep.
And it's not because they aren't great at their profession or their sport, but they know the value of that person that's going to push them to be a little bit more, to do a little bit extra, to be a little bit more successful than they might do on their own. And that's the same thing that we do, you know, you and I, for the businesses and the leaders that we work with.
Yeah, absolutely. It really helps people to not be just good, but to be great, level
Yes.
up and, have at it. And that's great. I love that you mentioned that, men's hairstyling and men's haircuts. And I understand you not having a passion for it, of course. If you look at my hair, I'm starting to look like one of the Osmonds. I am now 2 months removed from a haircut. And so the climates are different in different parts of the country. So I'm up in the Northeast in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. We're still under stay-at-home orders for my county and my section of the state, where Atlanta in Georgia has eased restrictions a
We
bit. So I
have.
know that hairstylists are able to be open and things like that. So our coaching, it's kind of same circus, different tent. But what are you seeing to the business climate in the Atlanta area now versus what it was 2 weeks ago? And where do you see that actually going, evolving into?
Well, it's very industry specific, if you will. Some businesses are opening slowly. Like you said, the restrictions have been eased quite a bit in Georgia, and we are seeing some restaurants opening their dining room, but they're taking extra precautions. They still have to distance people, and they're reducing the amount of seating and that type of thing. But we're still seeing a lot of restaurants that are doing the curbside pick up only. We definitely are seeing some of the hair salons and barbershops opening. Luckily, mine did. Anyway, one of the places I go opened. Some of the larger salons are not opening yet because they're still trying to figure out how do they make this work. So it's kind of up to each individual business. Our Chamber of Commerce is doing all their events and programming online through the month of May. They've done a really good job. This is the Cobb Chamber of Commerce. They've done a great job of keeping the programming going, adding so many more resources online. And I know that's what a lot of us business owners have tried to do. Some of the businesses like the CPAs and the mortgage brokers and folks like that are super busy. The bankers are very busy with all the PPP processing and things like that. And then some of the clients that I'm working with, trade show managers, travel planners, they're really having a difficult time. So it really does depend on which industry you're in and how you're opening back up. I've rescheduled some of my in-person coaching onto Zoom, but we are going to do at the end of the month, I'm going to do a live just with 2 clients workshop. We're planning on doing that actually next week. We'll see how the reports are, but the place we're going to be using is really doing a lot of extra precaution. I'm going to bring some Lysol wipes just to have that added, reassurance. So it's opening slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had to really pivot to what this quote unquote new normal is. And one of the things that you've done is coffee with a coach, right?
Yes, I've been offering some different online programming. It's been a great opportunity for a lot of us to get creative and offer new things. And so one of the things I have been doing is a weekly free coffee with a coach Zoom session from 8:30 to 9:30. People can just jump on, have that sense of community and collaboration. We've talked about everything from how do we help the nonprofits stay, serving their clients. What are some ways we can all help them serve those specifically in need right now, all the way to, what are we doing to creatively market to our clients? How are we staying in touch with our key clients as well as our personnel, our teams, some creative things like that. So it's been an opportunity for folks to just realize they're not alone in this and ask some questions, get some feedback, and have that support. It's been great.
Yeah, super important message to give to businesses. What kind of programs are people looking for? Where are the gaps that they're seeing now in their businesses? And, this affects us not only in our business life, but in our personal life as well. All the fear and the trepidation, the
Oh,
anxiety.
yes. There's been so much of that, so much of it because we're used to doing things in a certain way, and that's all turned upside down. So for some people, that's exciting because they like change, they crave change, they look at that innovation and how can we do things differently. And for the majority of people, as you know, they're not super excited about having to figure out a new normal or just even a new way, whether it's going to be normal or not. The now normal. I heard somebody on a webinar yesterday call it the now normal because we don't know if it's the new normal. But that's one of the things I've been offering webinars about too, is helping people with their mindset, helping people look at alternatives to just spiraling out of control with this fear, doubt, and worry. And also what are getting into some action, because one of the things that makes us feel so afraid is feeling like we have no control, which when there's so much uncertainty, that's the first thing that goes. So looking at even some small plans to put into place, whether they're going to stay in place forever, who knows? We've been calling them the 90-hour plans instead of 90-day plans, because it does give us that sense of here's some action steps we can do. Here's some things we can reflect on. Here's some planning we can put in place. So I've been, in addition to the Coffee with a Coach, offering webinars. I know that you have as well, to just offer some resources for people to focus on something different and feel like they can have some sense of control going forward.
Yeah, very, very important. And so what are some of the programs that your clients and even people that you're building and cultivating relationships are interested in, or maybe that they feel that they need? Is it time management? Is it more marketing during these times? Is it, we can't just reinvent the wheel, and because that's going to be that's way out of people's comfort zones, and that's going to take too much time. But again, the pivot, and what does that look like for your clients and the people in your marketing territory, and where do you see that going in the future?
Well, I do see people that are being more creative. They're taking this, the ones I'm really encouraging them to take this time to reflect, think, and plan. Think about what are the things that have been working, what are the things that it's on your back burner, you've been wanting to explore but haven't taken the time to redesign your website, or go after, focus in on a different marketing target, or coming up with different products. I've got one client who's a photographer, and she's been using this time to reach out and do yard signs, because all the high school seniors aren't able to have their high school graduations. And so she's been reaching out and creating yard signs for them with the student's name and the logo of the school they're graduating from, just a congratulations, and making it kind of a nice special treat, that's not just, that's something she can still offer and still social distance. So looking at different opportunities for that. I have some that are in those industries where they're looking at, like I mentioned, trade show industry. They're looking at, how are we going to do trade shows moving forward? Are they going to be more virtual? Are they going to be more compact, or smaller groups of attendees? I've had some that are looking at, maybe it's time to make a career change. Maybe it's time to get really clear on what they're passionate about, instead of, a lot of people just keep going with here's what I'm going to do next, because that's what's been expected. That's what's been expected by other people. It's what just seems like the next logical step. So there's a lot of upside to this stay in place, the shelter in place. If we take a look at it, it's a great opportunity to get clear on what you're really passionate about. And yeah, feel free to interrupt.
No. I just want to say I love that this is, we put this positive notation onto it, and it's a good time again. And I love that you said a good time to think, plan, reflect, maybe take a look. And one thing we do as coaches is we review why they got into their business in the first place, what their vision is prior to, what their vision is now. And a lot of people are really rethinking their business path, their career path, and they're making adjustments. They're they're going in sometimes a totally different direction. I found that when I've been speaking to people, a couple of my clients as well, they are looking outside of the box. And so I really love that we are able to be on that journey with them as coaches, right?
Absolutely. And you're so right about helping people get back in touch with why they started their business in the first place, because that's one of the things that goes out the window when the fear, doubt, and worry take over. And so if we can tap back into what it is that lights us up, that brings us that passion, then it can open up that space to even think of, well, maybe if I add this service, or if I try this new product, I can still tap back in, or even re-spark that passion that may be lost in some of the circumstance. So that's an important thing to remind everyone about.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we had talked about the importance of having a coach on your team, and it's becoming more and more, not even evident, but more and more of a necessity to have that person on your team. When we partner with a business, we become part of that business. We are a member of that team. They live and they die, and we feel everything the same as they do. So we measure our success in how successful the business becomes. And success looks so much different for everybody. It looks different from me to you, from one business to another. So once we identify that, it makes it all the more real to them, and again, all the more tangible. And I love what we do as coaches. This is a very important time, not just in our country, but in our history, really, for and not necessarily redefining, but maybe refocusing where we go. And things are not going to be the same, but that doesn't have to be necessarily a bad thing. So, right?
I completely agree with that. I think that one of the things that I love about what I do, and I'm sure you do as well, is the collaboration that we bring with our clients. It is a partnership, like you said. It's not just wouldn't it be great if we had a magic wand, we have, boom, you've got everything you want. But it really is a collaboration. And I really also feel very hopeful and passionate, if you will, to think about this opportunity as a refresh, a reset for our whole planet, really, to take a look at what is important, what are the real values that we have as an individual leader, as a member of the community, as a member of, the country and the world. So I really do hope folks will, and I do think eventually some will get there sooner than others, that we will embrace this reset opportunity.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. If people want to get a hold of you and talk to you about maybe what the next step is for them, how would they get in touch with you, Kim?
Well, they can reach out by email, which is K.Ellet@thegrowthcoach.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Kim Ellet, ELLET. I'm also on a Facebook business page. I'm on Instagram, not as active on Instagram, but I do have an Instagram and Twitter. Reach out anyway at my website, thegrowthcoach.com /Atlanta. Has all of my contact information and a little bit more information about me. So reach out. I'd love to collaborate and see where everybody is.
Excellent. Kim, thank you so much for your valuable time today. Always a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick. It's a pleasure seeing you too. Have an awesome rest of your day.
You do the same. This has been More Than Just Business, powered by the Growth Coach of the Poconos. And we all hope that you have a great day. And thank you again to our guest, Kim Ellet, the Growth Coach of the greater metro Atlanta area, right?
Close enough.
Beautiful. Close enough. Close enough. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe and stay gold.